Hello and welcome back to the Weird and Proud podcast. It's Sam and
Now you're even doing like
I even
face
have like a
stuff with
little
it.
a
There's
little
a
jig, a little
dance and there's face
dance.
expressions.
Yes, there is
James.
James. Yeah, I really, just like make it my own. Like I'm trying to like make it just a little
You're
bit of
into
this,
it.
a little bit of that. Hello everyone. Hope everyone's having a great week so far. We've got a great episode for you.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. The world is like it always is, kind of a dumpster fire. So we thought, what would be so fun is to look up all the ways the world is going to end.
Positive things. It's a very positive. We want everyone to have happy thoughts
Everyone
going into
have
the week.
happy, positive thoughts. Here's how
it's
we're
a
gonna die.
Monday. Go on in.
Go on and be like, you know what?
Positivity.
A super volcano could come this is what I think too. It's just like, like we are just floating or just on a rock floating in the, in the world. I mean, whatever, in space. And we could die any minute, really.
Easily.
A super volcano. We'll get into it. But also, I think a lot of people have told us that you guys really liked like the conspiracy theory episode that we did and how we debated a lot of them because James and I do, we have different beliefs. Obviously we've been together many years, but there are things we disagree about. There are things we do agree. And I think that's what makes it beautiful. And that's what balances it out. Like if we all believed the same thing and all like thought the same and that, like it would be boring.
It's like last week's episode in the matter and antimatter discussion.
Right.
You need both.
You need both. So we're going to discuss all of the theories on how the world's going to end, just to start your week off right. And we also have the dog's being crazy. We also have a weird news article too about some star blasts, some finger blasts, pulsar stars. James is going to lead us on that.
It's going to be great.
But this is like there was like a star that exploded.
So it's a pulsar star.
A pulsar
so
star that
it's
exploded.
like a dark. It's a star that's in its dying stages.
So it might be one
and
of the ways
it basically spins super duper fast, like 11 times a second, and it's like I believe this one was like 12 miles in radius. And imagine a 12-mile in radius thing spinning
out of control.
Yeah, and it sent off. We'll talk about it when we get.
We'll talk about it. And then of course we have some weird secrets. We have James. I almost lost my mind when I was going through the voicemails. We have someone with ties to Scientology that called in.
Oh, snap. I'm excited. Thank you for calling if you're listening. That's
yes,
awesome.
I really hope you're listening because I'm sure you'll have questions. We have questions. And I hope that you'll call in and answer some of them. So I really do hope that you're listening to this. So anyways, we've got a great episode. And it's almost spooky time. Spooky season is upon us.
Spooky.
And if you're on time listening to these episodes, we are going to be coming all over your face. Now we're coming to do some live shows.
Oh, Jesus.
We're going to do some live shows. Well, James comes with. He does also, of course, has a role in the shows too. And of course, we do a little bit of the weird secrets. We kind of sprinkled that in. There's stand-up. There's some songs.
It's like a variety show.
Yeah. And we will be New York City, October. I know this is going to be like coming right up. It's only a couple days away. Wednesday, October 11th at 8 p.m. Then we're going to be in Chicago on October 19th. It's a Thursday night. And then we also are going to be in Dubuque, Iowa. Dubuque, Iowa. I mean, like, I hope, like, I was trying to figure out, like, I wish there was a way that I could pull and see how many people follow me from Dubuque, Iowa. Because it does seem a little random, but it's also in a really good spot. Like, it's kind of close. I mean, it's a couple hours from Minneapolis. It's not too far from like Illinois. It's not too far from Wisconsin. So it's kind of in a little bit of a central spot, which is why it got pitched, to why to do the club there. I know it's like kind of random, but
There's a lot of people in that general area
Yeah,
around
like it's
Dubuque.
more like
Yeah.
in that general area. Like it's kind of like, you know, from what I looked on the maps, it's like
Dubuque's a
almost in
good
the
spot.
corner,
Yeah.
like the upper west corner of Iowa,
Ye-
right?
yep. Upper East, I
East
believe.
corner. That's
Yep.
what I'm. Yeah, yeah, upper east corner. So it's like it's just an
It's
essential
pretty
spot.
much right next to Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, all of them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I know it might be a couple hour drive, but would love to see you guys there. Chicago's almost sold out. New York City's almost sold out. I think we're like halfway sold out for Dubuque, but we're going to be there Friday and Saturday night. So get your tickets, SamanthaRamsdale.com/events. And hopefully we'll see you guys. We can't wait to meet a lot, not all of you, but many of
A
you
fair
in
amount
person.
of you.
Yes, in person. Especially the Midwest area. We haven't been out there in a while. New York City's always a good spot. A lot of people around this area. So anyway, so we can't wait to see you guys. But James, anything else you want to add? Anything you need to say to the people?
Oh no, we're gonna have plenty to talk about in this episode.
Oh yeah, no, this is a science-filled episode. This is the stuff that James likes to talk about. So this is really all about James. But this is also like this dead star that James is gonna like really kind of give us like the layman's version of, because this happened. This was an article from October 6th. So basically it says that the earth was hit by a
Yes.
dead star. So powerful that scientists don't understand it. A dead star known as the Vela pulsar hit Earth with a blast of energy so powerful that scientists are at a loss to explain it. And that was from the Nature Astronomy. So this is like legit. Like this is not like
This is time travel.
this is literal time travel.
This star died 10,000 years ago.
What?
I believe that was it.
No.
Is it in your article?
So I
You've
know.
got the article
I
out.
was gonna
I'm
say.
just
So I'm gonna
saying
read
things.
like the
Yeah.
basics of it, and then you can go to it. So this discovery was so unexpected that somehow was difficult to understand. It was detected by the high energy stereoscopic system.
Oh yeah.
This is the most high energy burst of its kind ever recorded, and scientists are unable to explain how a pulsar could emit such intense energy. So I'm gonna like what the hell, like energy, like okay, why didn't we feel any of the energy, or did we feel it and we just
It's
don't
like
know?
feeling the sun's rays in a way. You don't really feel them. The
Okay.
heat is caused by sun's rays as it comes into the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing as feeling sound. So
Okay.
it's like
Or like
feeling.
radiation.
It's exactly what it is, because the ones that they're testing were gamma rays.
Got it. So are we gonna die?
No.
Good to know. But like, so what does that mean for us? Like with high energy, I guess.
So a couple things, right? One, from our perspective, like living here on Earth, it's really not going to generally affect anything at all.
Yeah.
It's what they learned from it, right? It might again, it's time travel. This thing is died 10,000 years ago. If I read,
Yeah.
I read about it this week, but
Yeah.
and just like light from our sun is 8 or 9 minutes old, and light from some of these stars is, we're talking millions of light years away.
6,000 light years.
This one's 6,000 light
Yeah.
years. I knew this one was, so that was another thing. This one was particularly close, so it was something that they could study, right?
Yeah.
And they could understand, wow, these stars put out a lot more of this energy than we thought they could.
Yeah.
In other words, there's going to be a new way that they're going to be able to check how much energy really comes out from them. It kind of helps. It's when like you're doing any experiment, you get something you don't expect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you have to go figure out, why did that happen, right? That's the heart of science, is having a theory, but being ready for any answer that you get. This star, this pulsar, gave science, wow, this thing can create 200 times the amount of gamma rays than we thought
Yeah.
any
That's
of
what
these
it
things
said.
could.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
what is gamma rays like? Is that like literally
think
radiation?
of
Like if we were
X-rays.
close to it, like
What's an
can't
X-ray?
you like get cancer from X-ray? Like enough radiation?
It's like a moment of it, though.
Yeah, we're right. It's not like sitting on us for days.
No, and
Got
it's
it.
different than, like, everybody tends to bucket radiation into Chernobyl or a
Yeah.
nuclear,
Right.
right? Rah.
Rah.
And that's not exactly, radiation is around us all the time, right?
Microwaves.
Especially cell phones and all this put off a lot of radiation.
Yeah, well, that's like a big conspiracy theory too. Is like this 5G, like, and even, I have a friend who turns off their Wi-Fi at night.
That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, because of like the radiation.
Yeah. All
There's
things emit
radiation everywhere.
radiation. It's how science tracks it, that it's under different wavelengths.
Yeah,
right?
right. I do remember that
The
from science
length, like the
class.
short wavelengths,
Yeah.
long wavelengths. It's like the same thing as light. Light has different wavelengths.
Right.
Sound has different wavelengths. And so they were able to see that this was something that they didn't expect to happen. And that's why it was kind of a cool thing.
Wow. So it doesn't really, like, other than the scientists just like jizzing their pants, it doesn't really mean anything like really for
We're going to learn
humans.
from it. That's a good thing.
Yeah. What are we learning? Just
more about how these pulsars put out radiation
cool.
and how much they can put out.
Pulsars, those crazy pulsars.
I
They're
know.
always doing crazy stuff.
They're out there just spinning
Those
around.
crazy stars.
They're just those dead stars.
That's so interesting. It really like blows my mind, like thinking about the universe and just thinking back to our app. Like it makes me want to go sit outside again and look at all the stars.
Mhm.
Could we find this? I wonder if we could find it on the app.
Probably.
I think we told you guys about the app that I feel like everyone needs to download. The what was it called? Skyview. And you point at the sky and it tells you all the stars in the sky. It's so cool. And like how many light years they are away and like a ton of information about them. It's really interesting. All right. Speaking of ways we might die. All right, so this was
That was a great segue actually. That conversation into this one.
that's I had seen this one a while ago, and this actually came out in the beginning of 2023. On it's called Now, which is I don't know, scientific discovery journal. That's an online journal. We'll find out how realistic this is. But obviously, there are many, many theories on how the world will end one day. I'm trying to like skip over like more of the like religious ones and kind of some of these you can't help but some of them be religious. But and also we had like a timeline, like we had looked up to, there's like a timeline of like when people think the world's going to end. Luckily for the most part, like it's not going to end for a very long time. So if you're gonna get triggered by it, it's not going to end for a while. Probably not in our lifetime, at least for most of the. Well, actually, who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see. So the first. This is the first theory that this is. I mean, it says the title of it is Scorched Earth.
Okay.
So it basically says you want an apocalypse theory that's relatively a sure thing. As noted by Universe Today, in approximately 5.4 billion years, the sun will start fusing helium and rapidly expand across our orbit. But humanity will be long gone before this happens, since our star is steadily increasing in both luminosity and heat. In just about 1 billion years, there'll be a 10% increase, and it'll trigger a runaway greenway effect. So this is billions of years away, but basically at some point the sun's going to explode.
Yeah. It's going to run out of, it's going through a fission fusion process all the time.
Yeah.
That one that we talked about last time, hydrogen, that atom up in the periodic table.
Yeah.
And the other one on the other side, helium, they're just exchanging electrons up there over and over. And then when they run out, boom, then
Yeah. So this is 1 billion years away. So we've got a little while.
We got time.
We've got time. But really,
and
it is crazy to think that the world is going to end at some point.
Yeah, of course it is.
Just like when you think, like, someone had told me this, and I always like wasn't sure if this was true, but like it's physically impossible for our brains to like think about the fact that we're going to die one day. Because if you just like knew you were going to die, like even if it's like you don't know when, like you just like you wouldn't be able to function. Because you'd just be like, is that real? Do you think? Because it is like hard to think about. Like it's like, yeah, like I know I'm gonna die, but like I really, like, am I really gonna die? I feel like there might be, like maybe I'll live on forever. Like maybe there'll be some drug that comes out soon that like gives me another billion years.
You could wait till the sun
I
expands.
could wait till the sun explodes. Will I be
There you
there when
go.
the sun
Or
explodes?
you could just become a vampire.
Oh, that would be sick. If anyone is a vampire out there and wants to bite me. But I just thought this was interesting, and this I guess isn't really a theory because for most, I mean, I guess it's technically still a theory, but it's like feels like this is pretty legit. That like at some
The
point the
sun
sun is
expanding?
gonna explode.
Yeah, that's very legit. Yes, that is very legit. The star that we just talked about,
Yeah.
our sun is a star. It's going to
Right.
go through the same process.
Okay, so we're gonna be a pulsar at one point.
The sun will. I
The
believe
sun.
our
What about
sun
us?
is a little different.
Are we a star?
No.
I'm a star.
We're a planet. Yes,
We're
you
a
are a
planet.
star.
Right. Knew that. Um
Knew that. Check that one.
I knew
Mark
that.
that down. We're a planet.
I was testing you. Okay, the
Did I
next
pass?
theory, yes, is that robots are going to take over. Is AI. And this also feels like a little too scary. Like, I was hoping for like a volcano or like, an explosion, like the sun explosion.
This
like,
one
that
doesn't
sounds
scare
fun.
me.
It's not scary for you.
No.
So there is like this theory that, of course, with AI growing, that at some point, like there's this author who calls it the Frankenstein complex, that these machines will be smarter than us and find a way to like kill all humans. And of course, this is also very much a trope in a lot of pop culture, but it could it's one of those things that like people really do fear, and like who knows, we just don't know.
It's in the movie I, Robot with Will Smith. It's in the movie The
Right.
Matrix, and it's in a bunch
Terminator
of other
vibe.
ones.
It was Terminator kind of
Terminator
like an AI
was
thing.
kind of an AI, yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah. So that's something to think about. Are you like pro AI or
Very pro AI?
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Interesting. I feel
Why
like,
wouldn't someone be pro AI?
well, it's just like thinking of like, yeah, like could they take our, is it going to take jobs away? Like, will it make a lot of things obsolete if it can like basically like mirror human thoughts? And
It only can access what it has in front of it, right? It
Yeah.
can do projections and it can make theories, but the question is, how is it going to act off those projections and theories if something goes wrong? And there will be an element of human control in all of it, right?
Yeah. I don't know though.
Now,
But
will it take jobs and things away? It may, but that stuff has been happening
already.
ever since Paul Bunyan lost his job chopping down trees to a chainsaw.
True. R.I.P. Paul Bunyan.
So
justice for Paul Bunyan.
No, he's still alive.
Oh, he is.
Paul Bunyan's still alive, yeah.
He found the cure to stay alive forever.
He's fine. Him and Babe the Blue Ox, they're good.
Okay, good. Thank God.
No, the AI thing, I think, is, yes, there can be a lot of fears of it. There's going to be a lot of great media attention to the fear side of it, but there's also a lot of positives that can come from it.
Right. Interesting. All right. Well, another theory: zombie ground zero. And this is, kind of what everyone, the whole world, when it
wants.
Wants. No, where it come, COVID, like that was like a big thing. Was like, is this gonna take over and we're all gonna die? Like, with some of these zombie movies.
Zombie.
Well, zombie or just like any
a
disease,
flu,
like a flu, like it's either gonna like kill everyone
That's
or like
very
turn into
possible.
zombies. I know.
That's somewhat
a
possible.
lot of these are, a little too close for comfort. But like there are like current strains of like Ebola that are incurable.
Yep.
And there are that like, like they were listing out rabies as someone like if you like it can kill.
Yeah.
If you're unvaccinated. And if you like if this it says if an unknown pathogen with this like emerges with the high mortality rate of rabies, like that's a big
Fortunately,
problemo.
Medically, we move pretty quick. I realize that there's a lot of fluff out there about COVID, and I would love anyone to call in if You have talked to an
Oh,
actual
geez.
scientist and have actual science behind you, and you are not listening to just political stuff. I will not
He
listen
only
to that.
talks science.
Yeah. Because guess who won the Nobel Peace Prize? Guess who won a Nobel Prize?
Who?
The people who came up with the mRNA replicant of the COVID vaccine.
Well,
And
the conspiracy theorists people would say they paid for
that's and all these people are going to say, "Oh, the vaccine didn't work. The vaccine wasn't
it.
necessarily
Okay, we don't have
intended."
to go into that. This is going to turn a whole other.
We can real quick. All right, we'll skip over that.
James.
I defend science because it makes sense.
James.
People that say things for clicks, I do not defend.
Yes. But, right. A vaccine, right. Sure. Okay. So, but this is talking about if there is something that.
The vaccine for most rabies works really well, right?
Right.
Polio is basically wiped out.
Do all humans have rabies vaccines? Like
What do you
how?
mean?
Like it says that like we're like it can kill people who are unvaccinated.
Yes. You know,
So,
when you're
like,
a
do I
baby
have
and
a
your
rabies?
parents choose you to give you vaccines,
Yeah.
usually rabies, I think is one of those.
Is it?
I'm thinking, yeah.
Huh. I always wondered, like, do I have like what happens if something with rabies bit me? Would I die?
Depends on the strength of the strain of virus, right?
Yeah.
And I do not know all the strains of the rabies virus. Haven't studied it recently.
You should.
I might now.
Something to think about.
And how strong is your immune system?
Right.
Those are all factors in getting anything. Like when you're exposed to different parts of the flu probably every day, right?
Right.
And your immune system can usually fight it off. But again, if we're
Right.
short on sleep or if there's other things taxing our immune system, that little thing is more likely to be able to take over.
Mm.
And you're not really sick from it. You're sick from your immune system slowing you down.
Yeah. Right. Interesting. That was I remember we had to read a book in college that was about Ebola. Was Ebola the one with the monkeys?
Yes, I believe that they
it
were
started
involved in it
monkeys.
somehow.
I don't remember.
Also, I think
it's all
that's
a
the
blur.
theory behind the AIDS virus. It started with
Right.
monkeys.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Right. All right. So this is the fun stuff.
I think Ebola was more rats.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Super volcanoes.
Now you do know that's the one I've talked about the most.
Because this is
my
been
two
discussion,
major
like,
fears.
what do you think?
My two major fears in life are heights.
Yep.
And super volcanoes.
So, according to this article, it says that every 100,000 years there has been a super volcano.
Oh God!
And these are not your average volcanoes, obviously. But like it says, for instance, the Mount St. Helens explosion released 0.25 cubic kilometers of magma. A super volcano produces over 500 cubic kilometers. So this is like,
and one of the largest super volcanoes in the world is right in our backyard.
Dun dun dun.
People wonder, where does all that steam? Where do those geysers come from at Yellowstone National Park?
Yeah,
it's just a big old super volcano.
Yellowstone. But like, if that volcano went off, like all of the U.S. would be
immediate.
destroyed.
From what this one I might over embellish, but yeah, we're all dead.
Yeah.
Basically upon eruption.
Yeah,
if not from ash fallout.
If not from ash, but just the global temperatures will also rise over 10 degrees Celsius for over a decade.
See, I worry that
the ash on the ground will kill all plant life.
Yep. Which doesn't produce, which then chokes us out because plants produce oxygen, right?
Right.
Yep.
That would be scary. Why has there not been that should be a movie on a super volcano?
I think that would be a short movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Super volcano goes off.
Everyone dies.
Here, I'll write the script for you now, and I'm going to put my own little environmental spin on it.
Okay.
We keep ignoring what's happening to the world.
Yeah.
We allow the polar ice caps to melt.
Yep.
The pressure of the water, not only does Florida and New York and everything go underwater, but the pressure from the water actually speeds up the supervolcano popping like a pimple, right? Pressure pops it. So water is high pressure. When you get when the further down you go in water, you feel that pressure, right? Well, why wouldn't a volcano feel that? And it's going to cause a volcano. So we have to figure out how to get global temperatures back down so that we have the polar ice caps again. There's my movie pitch.
Interesting.
because it elicits a super volcano.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, right. If like basically it erupts and like no one survives,
Yeah, that's
it's
just a
kind of
super short movie.
Same
No,
with like the sun exploding. It's like
yep,
the sun explodes.
sounds good. Basically, that one is how fast can we get to Mars?
Exactly. Well, that's that was what it was saying in the article too. There's like they're really the only option would be like you'd have to find a life on another planet. Like maybe by that point in a billion years, will we have the technology from AI to like time travel and be able to like live on another planet?
That's why we need the AI.
Dun dun dun.
And what happens, like in the old classic film Planet of the Apes, we come back to what we think is a planet, but it's controlled by apes, but it was really Earth originally because we had to leave. Yeah.
That's a mind fuck. I know, or if we can like go back in time on our own planet.
That's kind of what some of these are about.
Right. Freaky. Hopefully I'm dead by then.
Which
Just
you
kill
can't
me.
obviously think about, which is what you
Right.
said before.
Right. Like I don't know. Like will I die? I don't know. You know, like it is weird. Like you can't really think about it because like if you did, like yeah, like you would think about it all day. Like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna, like I don't know. Would you? Maybe I don't know. Here are just like random other ones. Like we don't have to talk about all of these, but solar flares is one.
Glad what we went through
Which
with the
is what
gamma
we just
rays
went
is a version, could be
of a
considered
solar
a
flare.
similarity to a
Yep.
solar flare.
So yeah, there's like one apparently that was in 2012 that like apparently like just missed us or something, and like if it said we would have been screwed. There's also the deep impact scenario where a meteor hits us, same as the dinosaurs.
Yep.
Supposedly. How do you think the dinosaurs died?
A meteor.
Oh, okay.
It's very, yes. There's a layer of sediment called the, why is my mind blanking? Oh, why am I blanking? So if you follow, like if you look at the side of a cut open mountain and you see the sedimentary layers of the rock, right?
There's a layer from when the meteor hit?
There's a layer from when the meteor hit. It is seen throughout the world, and never once have they found dinosaur bones above that level of sediment. In other words, they're all below that.
Mm-hmm. So it says at any given time they're about
65 million years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, it says there are about 1 million near Earth asteroids that could hit the planet at any time. Going on.
I can't believe I can't remember what that layer is called now.
So like is that another thing? Like is that at some point like I mean, I guess the universe is so big, but like at some point like we're just gonna like we will get hit by another asteroid.
Yeah, they already found one that's probably going to hit us in 100, 200, couple hundred years maybe.
And
I
they
can't
can
remember.
see it coming? Like how do they
Yeah,
know
that's
it's
why
coming?
we have all those telescopes out in space and
to
stuff.
like watch and be like, okay, so we have.
This is why NASA
But would they
exists.
really tell us?
But since we've never been to the moon, how are we going to know?
Exactly, James. Would they tell us if an asteroid is coming? Like, don't you think that they wouldn't want us to like start freaking
I don't know.
out?
Go watch Armageddon again.
I know. What
It's
happens?
a documentary.
Do they tell us?
It's more a documentary.
Really?
They tell us like the last minute.
Yeah, because they like
they
we don't want everyone to freak out. So like
yeah.
that's the other thing too. Like we really never know.
Or you could watch the movie Don't Look Up.
That stresses me out. All right, just for the last like couple, these are when it gets a little wacky. This one's called the false vacuum. Basically, the idea like antimatter, that like basically
Gravity gives up on us?
pretty much. It seems like there's a false vacuum.
That one, I need to read that.
I don't know. This seems really kind of freakish. Like that we live in a bubble. Yeah, the bubble could pop. The gray goo theory. This is one where it involves tiny. Wait, what? Some of these are a little like this is where it starts to get a little wacky. But some of these other ones, but you can look these up if you really want to look into them. But those are like the top ones that are like probably the most popular and like kind of realistic.
Most likely, we're gonna kill ourselves for being idiots.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Be some kind of another nuclear thing, or
smoke it if
just
you got
let
it.
all the polar ice caps melt and not care about it.
Exactly. Can you tell James is very passionate about this stuff? You get him started and he will go and go. So if you ever want to talk science or any of those, let us call in. Message James. Get
Tell
him
me
fired
why
up.
it's not happening. I'd love to hear your rebuttal.
Oh God. You're feisty today.
My fantasy team isn't doing well.
Oh, are you okay?
I'm so pissed.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. This is a feisty topic for me. There aren't
I
a lot
know.
of,
Well, I was gonna say you
there
get
did
very passionate about this stuff.
yeah, I know.
This is I will
think it's
say,
important.
you know, if they're like when I think of like things that you're really passionate about, like I think of like science, biology, climate.
I think it's more important. Maybe I should be more curious. Maybe I should be more passionate about having other people have curiosity
Yeah.
about what they're reading and why they think that that's what it is.
Yeah.
And like following just clickbait versus diving into something that might actually be science.
Right. But if that's the thing,
I'm more
and this is
passionate
like what
about curiosity.
I remember studying in school too, was like how to know like if like how to find news
Follow
or
the money.
media that's unbiased, that's completely unbiased.
Yeah, I don't know if that necessarily exists.
Like well that was I remember like writing a paper in school about like is there any like will we ever have any sort of news or media that's completely unbiased? Like is that
it's
even
only
a
gotten
possibility?
worse and worse. That's the problem.
Well, yeah.
It's
Right.
Yeah.
I was a communications major, you guys. Like if you didn't know. If you guys are communications majors out there, which I feel like there are a lot of people who are, I feel like the news media, I was telling James, like I've been thinking more about like my college courses lately than like ever before. And stuff that I was like, oh, I never really like, cared about this in college. But now I'm like, oh, it is so interesting. Anyways, all right. Now that we've talked about how we're all gonna die, I think it's time to lighten the mood a little bit. What do you think, James?
I thought that was
Is there
fun.
anything else you want to get off your chest about
It
how
doesn't
the
really,
world's
but no. Maybe I should be more promote curiosity.
promote curiosity? And also, you know, like I think it's good to look like we were saying about
Look at
Loch
both
Ness. Look at both
sides.
sides.
Honestly, do.
I always like think about that, like in school when you had like, okay, do you believe or don't believe in Loch Ness monster? Now you got to write a paper on the opposite.
I've looked at both
Like,
sides, which is why I'm passionate about one of them.
Right. Anyways, okay, so now it's time to transition into a little bit of a lighter. We're gonna do secret, 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 secret. Wait, which one have I been doing?
That one.
Okay,
I like that
I
one.
can't remember if I was like, wait, was I doing the secret, secret?
No, I haven't heard that one in a while, actually.
Okay, I can't remember, and I feel like again, maybe at some point there'll be a little bit, you know, more with that song. But in the meantime, I feel like that fits. All right, we're going to get into the weird secrets. We have some really good ones this week. And you can also send us in a weird secret if you go to speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. I'll put it in the description of this podcast or in the YouTubes if you're watching on YouTubes. But it's speak SPEAKPIPE speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. You have up to 1 minute and 30 seconds, which this is, I think I'm gonna have to go with the one that I'm most excited. Well, not most excited, but I wasn't even sure that like Scientology people are allowed to like.
Well, there's still people they can talk about.
Well,
Jeez. Yeah.
No, but I
what
mean, like,
can they not?
Well, like, you know, if they're allowed to like talk about it at all, like outside.
We'll find out.
Well, and okay, I'm just gonna play it, and you can hear what happens. All right, here we go.
Hi guys, I'm calling in about Scientology. I'm not a Scientologist, but my dad has been a Scientologist for 25 plus years, as well as my brother, maybe like 10 years in. And I've taken a few courses when I was younger in the org, is what they call it here in Miami, which is just like, I think one of the courses was like learning how to learn, which helped me. Yeah, I don't know. When I see the version of Scientology in the media versus obviously experiencing it, not me experiencing it, but my family, it's so different. So, not to say it's not valid, I'm sure of like most religion, there's always maybe a dark side. But for the most part, they were pretty normal, whatever that is.
So it gets cut off.
Oh no.
I know. So that's what I was like going to try and say. I was like, I think she was trying to say more, but it got cut off because of the time limit. So that's why I'm extra hoping that you're listening to this, because it got cut off. I wasn't sure what you were going to say, but also I'm just curious, like, of course, I don't know how much you can get into it, but what do you feel like the media like really gets wrong about Scientology?
That's a great question.
Like,
I
what do
love
you
their
think?
call because I agree with her that there's probably way more in the media than what's really
Right, the
happening. It's done
negative
a lot of good
things,
for
right.
probably a lot of people, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I'm just curious, like, what is I mean, this kind of goes to my
You
first
want to
question,
know
like,
if they
what is the
believe in
truth?
aliens,
Yeah,
don't you?
like,
Let's just cut to the
what do you
chase.
believe
What
in?
she'd like to ask you
Do you
is
believe in aliens? And the aliens like really are like here, like
alien spirits.
the alien spirits.
Yeah, in a way.
I need to know if that's real. That's mostly.
I've never seen one thing that says it isn't.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could let us know.
And that's not that far out. I mean,
No.
there's
Other
pe-
religions believe
other
other
religions
crazy
believe in,
things.
and I'm not saying any of these are crazy. They're all what they believe. Religions believe in reincarnation, right?
Right.
Religions believe that
You can rise from the
Jesus
dead.
died and rose
Right.
from the dead, and
Right.
there's a lot of things out there. So what they believe isn't
Right.
all that
Crazy. I know I shouldn't say crazy.
far-fetched.
But I'm
Crazy
just
is
really
okay.
interested.
We're weird. It's weird like us.
Weird. Yeah, it's just different. And I just feel like there's not a ton of information out there. Like you were saying, in the news media, it's all kind of the negative sides of it. And yeah, I'm curious, like, in your like perspective, or like as your brother and dad's perspective, what they believe in. Like, I don't know if they're allowed to say that though, because it feels like whenever
That feels very secret.
Scientologists,
Yeah.
are like asked about it, they're like, read the books. You got to read the books. You got to read the books.
It's a great sales pitch.
And I just need someone to be my Spark Notes. Like, I just need someone to
I
tell
want
me the
Spark
summary.
Notes. Give me the cliff notes.
And I need to know about the aliens. Okay. But thank you so much for calling in. Like, I literally lost
That
my
was
mind when I
awesome.
heard that you had
Thank you so
Scientology
much.
ties, and obviously completely anonymous. But if you could call back, I need to know what you were going to say, and or if you could answer our questions about the aliens. Thank you so much.
I thought I'd cut to the chase for him. Like, I know what you want to ask.
I need to know about the aliens. All right, James, are you ready now? I'm trying to do like one spooky paranormal, especially with Halloween coming up. A spooky paranormal story a week. So here's a good spooky story. Here we go.
I wanted to call in with a kind of a medium story of my own. So my older sister, when she was about like 5 years old, she had like kind of a premonition, kind of medium way about her. So they were going to visit my grandpa in Dallas, and driving up to his house, she was drawing pictures in the car, as 5-year-olds do. She drew this picture of my grandpa and put a big, like, no smoking sign over his head. He was a lifelong smoker of cigarettes. So my mom's like, whatever. We show up to their house, and he's like, do you notice anything different? And we're like, no. He's like, I stopped smoking. And they're like, holy shit. And they grab the picture out of the car, like, super weird, right? So another instance of this is their mom, so they're my half-sisters, their mom's friend gets in a car accident, and she keeps asking her mom, where are his legs? Where are his legs? And they're like, that's super weird. Like, maybe she's dreaming about him in like a coffin or something. No, they find out later the details of the car crash, and his legs were cut off completely in the car. We didn't tell her about this until she was like 30. So she didn't know she was like a witch or a medium. But anyway, thought that was super weird. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh my god. So wait, so these incidents happened and then she just like kind of grew out of it? Is what I'm getting.
They didn't tell her till she was 30.
Yeah, that she had said this type of stuff when she was younger.
I don't know a lot about the process of how, like anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
find out a kid is a good at sport, or finding out you were a good singer, and your parents foster that. Maybe
Right.
this skill just didn't get
Didn't get
fostered to
fostered.
use more
Right.
or promoted.
Right. Or
Wrong
like,
word.
is there, like, when you told her this when she was 30, like, was she like, oh my God, I still have stuff like this that happens? Or was she like, well, that's crazy. I never do stuff like that anymore. Because there still could be like little signs or like things.
Well, because as a medium, you have to be open to that sort of
Right.
stuff. But I would think that through adulthood, we close ourselves off to a whole lot of things all the time.
Yeah.
So as a kid, you have none of those filters. Like you'll
Right.
just
Right.
do
That's
and
what
say stuff,
happens
and
to
it's whatever,
kids.
right?
Yeah. A lot.
So
Yep.
maybe that was just something that eventually just she closed off.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's possible. Just going with what I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, that is a thing. You know, but it's like you would still, like, if you were born with that natural ability, like, you would think that there would still be, even if she's completely closed off, like, there would be things here and there randomly that she'd be like, oh, that's weird, like, I had just like saw a vision of that, or like I had a dream about something, you know. I don't know.
I wonder.
But I'm curious, and those are crazy, like that, especially like when it comes to kids. You know, it's always so interesting because, yeah, like they don't have those filters. And there have been people who've told me stories too, or previously, especially on social media, like when I was asking for paranormal stories about kids who like also had information on like past lives, or like would ask about like, yeah, be like, you know, like just say weird things. And it's like, I forget, there was one that was like, this girl was asking about, you know, like being on the Titanic, and she like had never, you know, it's just like random things that kids wouldn't know to ask about at such a young age. And it's like, how do they know to ask that?
Yeah.
You know, if it's like passed down, I don't know. It's interesting. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Physics says that energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
Right.
So it's going somewhere.
I know. If I'm reincarnated, I want to come back as Prue.
I figured you'd say cat.
A cat. Well, you know, the thing is like you can say cat or like a dog, but like some cats and dogs have rough lives.
Okay. You want to be
So I want
Prue
to be
specifically because we
she's
carry
the
her
best life.
because we carry her across the
everywhere.
grass so that she doesn't have to touch the wet grass.
She
in
doesn't
the
like
morning.
wet grass, so we have to carry her across the grass. We have to.
She's so tough.
Like literally, just, I mean, she's obviously our baby angel, but I just like, she's a pretty good life.
Yeah.
That would be the life that I would. No worries, except just worrying about the security.
She's security guard. She's lead security. It's very stressful.
Yeah, it is. That's true. She does have a lot of stresses. All right, James, are you ready for our last secret?
Prepared.
Here we go.
Hey, Sam and James. Fellow Maine girly here. Not my first time calling in, but I'm listening to your last episode right now, and you guys are talking about sex education, and it reminded me of back in my health class in high school. I think I was maybe a junior, and the teacher pulled the class. This was totally inappropriate, and asked how many of us had had sex. There was 19 kids in this class, and there was only one person in the class that said that they had not had sex, and that was me. And I felt like a total loser, and after that was like, I just need to lose my virginity like yesterday. So that's a really, it's not really a secret, but kind of a sad story about sex education and a teacher that definitely should not have done that. But, you know, here we are. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
That we like had a weird teacher that would like do some weird shit, and like there was a health class that like there was a part where we could like write in anonymous questions about anything.
Yeah.
And like I remember that someone had wrote in like, how do you give this? We were like in probably like freshman year of high school, like probably like 14, 15.
Oh boy.
And someone wrote in and was like, how do you give a good blowjob?
Oh boy.
And he like answered it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was so weird. Like went on this whole thing about pleasure. And like I remember he got in trouble. I can't remember what ended up happening. Like if he was like but he was like looked into. Like someone went home and was like, yeah, our teacher like told us how to give a good blowjob.
Yeah,
today."
he probably should
The
be looked
fuck?
into.
But even too, like asking like who's. I didn't remember. I couldn't hear if she said what grade she was in.
I
when we did
know. I
that.
was trying to think of that. I didn't
But I'm
catch
like,
it.
every single person had lost their virginity except for you. I'm hoping it was a senior.
So here's what I'm saying. Good for you, one, for I guess abstaining or waiting for the right person rather than just doing it, right?
Right.
Two, for being honest, because I promise you, not everyone in that class had had sex. I think they just a bunch of them raised their hand.
Yeah. Well, I was
Even
gonna say
I'll bet
that's
even
crazy.
by senior year, a full class of 20-some people,
Yeah.
I could see where
Yeah. I was gonna say. I was like, or like maybe she meant college, but even college.
I'm saying
I don't
high
know.
school, I'll bet I would get good for you
Everyone's
for being
lying.
honest. I think there were other people in that class.
But
They
that
were just
what
lying
like
to be cool.
prompted him to ask that? Maybe just talking about like I don't know. Just weird. That's so bizarre.
The only way I can connect those to your story and her story is I wonder if the curriculum, and if there's any teachers out there, I know we have nurses and teachers that listen to this,
Yes.
is the curriculum in sex ed to try to foster an open space to talk about uncomfortable things? Because that's the
right.
only justifiable reason that I see none for the whole blowjob thing. Like you could just throw
Right.
that out and not answer it.
Right.
But it sounds like they're supposed to at least be fostering a safe, comfortable spot to
Well,
talk
still,
about
even
sex.
being like, who's had sex in here? Be like, it's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's strange as hell too.
Yeah.
That these are teachers that maybe took that principle
A little too far.
Yeah.
If there are any like health or sex education teachers in here, please call in and tell us any crazy stories. I mean, you obviously don't have to tell anything like specific about specific students.
Oh
but
no,
like,
we want specifics, names, give it all.
names.
No, I'm kidding.
But like, I'm sure like kids ask weird stuff too, and I'm sure it is like that's hard. That is a hard thing. Like that would be the worst. Yeah, like the worst fucking job. So bizarre.
Especially for freshmen.
Yeah. Well, even like I was thinking when I started sex education in middle school, like these kids, like we could not stop laughing.
Yep.
You know, just being so inappropriate, asking inappropriate questions. So I'm sure that has just got to be the worst. So yeah, call us in or with some more paranormal stories. Scientology. If you got some more Scientology
End of
stuff,
the world.
End of the world. Yeah, if you guys have any other
conspiracy theories.
We love a good theory. Call us in. Make sure you go to
SpeakPipe.
That's speakpipe.com/weird-and-proud-pod. Again, I'll put it in the description. It's also on the Instagram. So make sure you're following us on Instagram, Weird and Proud Pod. It's in the description there too as well. And come see the shows. Come out. We can't wait to meet you guys in person, give you big hugs. And we're just so grateful. Thank you for all the support. Thanks for listening. We hope you have a great week. We hope we don't die by a super volcano. And if we do, it's been real. James has had enough of me. All right. We love you guys so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, weirdos.
Bye, weirdos.